So let's talk about the Expendables films. In particular, let's talk about Expendables 4, which is in theaters now as I record this. I just got out of the theater on a wonderfully rainy day to see Expendables 4, or EXP4, and however they're spelling this film to try to be cute. I did not like the first Expendables movie. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's a return to 80s action." No, it's a return to the terrible movies the 80s action stars made when they weren't really stars anymore and started doing straight-to-video garbage. Expendables 2 I thought was a lot of fun. I was surprised how much I liked it. Expendables 3 I thought was fun, and then Expendables 4, like, I had never even heard that it was being made. Suddenly I just see a trailer for it not long before it came out, and I was like, ooh, this doesn't look very good. And there's like all the icons. The whole idea with Expendables is that it was like 80s, maybe dipping into 90s action icons. And the cast on display in the trailer for Expendables 4, it's like Megan Fox, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, somebody I'm not really familiar with, and Stallone and Statham and Dolph Lundgren and all that. So I'm like, wow, we're really kind of moving away from the idea that, wow, it's really cool because these movies get all these action stars together who maybe never made action movies before. And so I just went to see it. I saw it in Dolby, saw it at the AMC in Dolby, big Rumble Rama, huge screen, perfect sound. And boy, did I think it was terrible. I mean, I went in not thinking it would be good, but that usually actually helps me. I usually go in with low expectations, and I'm usually impressed or surprised. But this one was worse than I thought it would be. It feels really cheap. It feels like a lot of green screen, a lot of CGI, a lot of fakery. The action is pretty terribly conveyed. It's what I hate about contemporary action films for the last 20 plus years, is that they put the camera too close, they shake it, and they cut it too fast, and you really can't understand what's going on. If you're somebody who is impressed by the fact that guns get shot a lot and that things blow up, that's certainly present in abundance here. A lot of people get stabbed in the throat in this film. A whole lot of Statham stabbing, little stabby Statham going on in this film. And I like Statham. I think he's fun. I think he's cool. But like, the dialogue is terrible. All of the witty banter between him and Stallone and the other team members of the Expendables that are supposed to be, you know, witty put-downs are never funny. I didn't smirk once in this film. As I said, the action is terrible. It feels very, very small as a film. It only takes place in about 2 locations, and they feel very much like they're on a studio stage, or they're outside LA somewhere at some former, factory or something like that. It really does not work at all. I got no beef with Lady Expendables. That was talked about actually way back, I think after the second or the third one, that they might do an all-female version. I'm like, great, there's great kick-ass female action stars. Please put them all together. In this, we have Megan Fox, who looks great in the film, but that's kind of all she does in this film, is look great. And then her stunt person does some kind of, not parkour, does some kind of ultimate fighting moves here and there, but again, it's so shaky and so quickly cut. It really could be anybody, and probably is. And it's almost humorous that she has the full glam look the whole time. She's supposed to be part of this elite team that goes in undercover and just kills bad guys and gets out, and she looked like she stepped out of Vogue, or she stepped off the runway the whole time. Hair perfect, makeup perfect. It just seems ridiculous. There's another female team member who's a lot cooler, who seems a lot more able in what she does with, they call her Lash, and she has like a whip chain that she uses. But again, I don't know, I presume the performer actually can do this, but the way the film is shot and cut so badly, it kind of might have been impressive if I could see what was going on. American action films, or international action films as a whole, aside from like Hong Kong, used to know how to do it. Hong Kong set the stage for how you're supposed to do action, to allow people to be impressed by what these people can do, allow people to be impressed by what these professionals and geniuses are able to come up with for action sequences. American films took that away because they couldn't do it as well, and it's all just chaos. It's just like, I guess I'm impressed by the fact that there were 2 guys and they gave each other dirty looks, and then the camera did this for a while, and now one guy strikes a pose, and I'm supposed to be impressed by that? No, I'm not. It was really bad. It was a really bad movie. This felt like, I'm watching this, I'm like, this feels like if you made an Expendables sequel long after anybody cared, which is kind of what this case is here, and you just had it go straight to Hulu, or you had it go straight to Sci-Fi Channel or something, and you managed to get a couple of the actors to be in it. It was, I don't know how often I can just talk in circles and say how bad this was. Laughably bad dialogue, like this is begging for the riff tracks treatment. Really cool action stars, and I just came out of the theater, and it's a man whose face I recognize, and I wish I could remember his name. He's an Asian action star he's one of the top Asian action stars for the last several years, and he's in it, and he's totally wasted as the bad guy. You could sort of get a sense of what he can do martial arts arts-wise, but again, this stuff totally removes any ability to be impressed by it. Tony Jaa, who's one of the great martial artists of all time, is in this film, and again, you get a sense of what he's doing, but the camera is all over the place while he's doing it. It's okay to be impressed by what's going on in a stationary frame. Let me just say, the reason why Hollywood started aping Hong Kong trends and started bringing Jackie Chan and Jet Li over here is because they saw how amazing those films were, and somehow they never let those guys, or very rarely, Brett Ratner kind of did, let those guys do what they can do and let us, the Caucasian audience who doesn't want to watch subtitles, which is not me, be impressed by that. So it always makes me mad. Seeing it, I love action movies, and I see so few that I think are well done. They're all lost in a sea of CGI and green screen and bad editing and bad camera work, and Expendables 4 is no exception. Now, somebody may correct me and say, well, all the Expendables movies did that. Maybe they did. I just remember having a really good time with Expendables 2. So the 2 where I saw it a couple times in the theater and bought it, and seeing Expendables 3 in the theater and then buying it and thinking they were fun. That's another thing. Antonio Banderas is not in this film, but they have a guy playing his son who basically acts just like Antonio Banderas and is terrible. And they have the moment when the team first comes together, called together by Andy Garcia, who's slumming in this film. They're given their briefing and everything, and there's 2 new guys. There's the guy who's not Antonio Banderas, and there's Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, who's not an actor, if I didn't say that already. No matter how many movies he makes, he's not an actor. And they're like the new guys, and they're looked at dubiously by the team. Something bad happens. Here's the plot, what little of the plot I'll give you, what little there is. Something bad happens on this big mission where these people were with him for the first time, with Stallone and Statham and Lundgren and Randy Couture for the first time. And things go down, and suddenly these guys who have been with them on one mission for, let's probably presume, a week or 2, have all this gravitas, and they're so torn up about these team members they're losing who they've barely known, and it's just, it's not good. Not good, folks. I'm not going to belabor the point. Let me know if you did like Expendables 4 or where you rate it in the Expendables universe. I thought it was a total waste of time, an insult to the series, and there's no major surprises in this movie, by the way, as far as cast. The other ones, like somebody would show up and you'd be like, oh my God, they got Chuck Norris, or oh my God, they got Schwarzenegger. Ain't none of that happening in this film. In theaters now, the sky is crying because I'm talking about this film, Expendables 4.